And many of you mentioned energy, like the way that our body has the capacity to communicate or conduct energy. And that's a huge piece of how our body operates. It's like that flow of motion, that potential for energy to move through us, and how we experience it within the energy within our own body, and how we experience it in connection with others. So oftentimes when we think about pleasure, it's really a harmonious flow of that energy through us. And then there's pain. Pain's an interesting thing. It's sometimes feels ever present, sometimes mobile, and sometimes not. And yet it's such an interesting part of our body that helps communicate where there might need some shifts, or where I might be able to breathe a little bit more, or where I might be holding some of those stones of tension, either mental stones or emotional stones or physical stones, because I can feel them. It's not, we separate these pieces of ourselves in order to talk more about them. And yet, the emotional body is a part of the physical body, as somebody else mentioned too. And also the mental impacts and connects with the physical body. So as we were talking about before, as where we put our intention actually can help the energy within this body system to make some shifts within the body. So it's really a practice of becoming aware and more aware, and using that awareness to create more flow of energy where it might be disturbed, or where there might be a barrier, being curious about the barrier, and then allowing yourself to kind of ask, what do we want to do? What do we want to happen with this barrier? How do we want to work with this barrier? How do we want to move around or through this barrier? How do we want to release it? So one of the things that we are wanting to demonstrate is, and not just demonstrate, but actually have you experience. So this is a very participatory class, is that feeling of energy as a block, when the energy is blocked, when there's so much tension that we might be purposefully or unconsciously or consciously holding within our bodies, and it creates either a subtle tension or a major tension or a pain, or like a emotional holding. And so we're going to play with those different kind of barriers and blockades today. So what I'd like us to do first of all is to stand up. What I want us to do first of all is to, this will be temporary. So if this feels really uncomfortable, it's because it is. So it's just an exaggeration of what we might do in our bodies, tightening up our fists, bringing our shoulders to our ears, tightening up our glutes, our thighs, our legs, our faces, and then trying to walk. So try moving through your own space, walking through your own space. And how does that feel as we walk? Yeah, that's it. And then relax. All right. So then the other piece is to help to create more flow. We can do, and some of you might be familiar with the charge and discharge exercise. So one of the ways that we allow that energy to flow through our bodies more is to engage with its natural ability to augment energy or to decrease energy. So this is a way to experience how the energy flow is in our body, and what maybe our current preferences are, how we experience the augmentation of energy, and how we experience the relaxation of energy. Another way to describe it is the yang, or the active energy, and the yin, which is more of the relaxed or chilling energy. And so how we do this next movement or exercise is by having our feet below our hips and our knees relaxed. And then as we can either have our hands out like this in front of us like a tree, but we want our shoulders a little more relaxed. Or we could bring our hands back, where we're bringing the arms back a little bit from our shoulders, or back from our chest, I should say, behind us. So either one of those positions is good. And we're going to have our eyes open. So that's a way that we help ourselves stay present, like our intention is today, to stay present to the bodies that we're in. And just allowing ourselves to breathe through the mouth and staying focused on a point with our eyes open. And then we allow for a shake. Now, so for some people, they might be more familiar with this, or the shake might be a natural thing in their bodies. It just engages the shake, or the movement is engaged on its own. For other people, you might have to get that shake moving. So just allowing yourself to move the body a little bit, put some momentum into it, or allow the momentum to just come from the body. Either way is fine. So this is the charge position. This is a position that really helps augment the energy, increase the energy flow in our body. Build the energy is another way to put it. And we keep breathing with that. And just noticing how I feel with this. Does that feel comfortable? Does it feel fluid? Are there parts where the shaking or the movement doesn't seem to happen? So just noticing our own bodies. How is that flowing? Where is it in my body, that energy? And then I'm going to relax my arms. Take my head down. So I'm going to hang my head. I'm going to talk to you up here, but I'm going to hang my head. Let all of that energy flow down into the earth, recycling it. Allow ourselves to just ease, allow the musculature to ease, allow the shake to happen if it happens in this aspect of the discharge. Let it happen. So our bodies might shake. We keep our breathing going. We keep our attention present in our bodies. And we allow for that movement. And continuing to breathe. And so this is where our bodies is in the yin. It's in the discharge. It's in the ease. It is in the relaxing it out, letting it go, the being. So just noticing your own body and how does it feel? What are you aware of? Is there one of these positions you like better? And then slowly coming back up. And just slowly, the last thing to raise is your nose and eyes. Let's just try that briefly again, being aware. Nice deep breaths. Before we go into it again, just sense what your body feels like now without doing the charge or the discharge, just being in a more neutral pose. How does that feel? Do you feel a vibration going through the body? Do you feel stagnancy? Do you feel movement, heat, coolness? We're going to do it just again briefly, just to get an experience of memory in our body around this exercise. Again, your arms can be up and back and behind you or in front of you. Knees are soft. Eyes are open. Mouth, we're breathing through our mouth. If for some reason that's too drying or something else like that, you can use your nose. Make sure our feet are planted and allow for that movement to happen in our body. See if you can invite it to come naturally. And if not, then we just allow ourselves to give it a little movement support. And keep breathing. Allowing our bodies to come down into the discharge, slowly allowing for an ease at the hips and just allowing our heads to hang down, allowing that shake in our body, continuing to breathe, continuing to stay present to our bodies in this letting down in this yin, in this discharge, in this ease, just being with whatever it is communicating to us now, being connected to the energy flow. Our body is the conduit of this amazing energy of life and light. Continuing to breathe. And then slowly coming back up. Coming to a neutral and just sensing, being with that energy movement in our body. Being with the skin, the body, the bones, the muscles that are the conduit of the energy. They are the conduit, the carrier. Okay, shake that up. And then just kind of look around us a little bit at the bodies around us. And knowing that energy is also increased and augmented in contact, in connection with others. The connection with others does impact the energy flow that happens in our bodies. So we allow for that as we breathe a little bit, get ourselves mobile, present. Okay.
What we're going to do is now notice how our body responds to other bodies making energetic movement towards us. So people in the room can just stand in a circle. And if you're on the internet, Andy and I will be pinned and we will make the gesture. And if you're in virtual land, make those gestures back to us. Don't just sit there and watch. Get your body into motion. Make the gestures back to us. First of all, people who are in a room stand facing each other. First thing is just look neutral. Look around the circle. People on the internet, look at me. Andy will be joining me in a minute. And just a rather neutral look. Okay, sure, here we are. How do you feel your body right now as you're in contact with other bodies? Yeah, all right. Okay, just take a little reading there. All right, now let's have what we normally do in social situations is put on a nice little social smile. That's right. Okay, everything is wonderful here. We're all having a great time sitting around smiling at one another. Isn't this nice? All right, again, just notice how your body feels doing that good social smile. Oh, hello. All right, now we're going to ask you to shift and now stick your jaw out a little bit. Just stick your jaw out and see how that posture of your body, sticking your jaw at other people feels. Hmm. Hmm. All right, now the trick here, the next postures we go through, see if you can just experience it without making a joke out of it. No, it's not serious. We're not intending anything malevolent towards others, but just see what happens when you do the body gesture of shaking your fist at someone else. Keep your jaw stuck out and shake your fist at others. Hmm. Hmm. Go ahead and growl a little bit. All right, now just Again, feel your body, go inside, notice the shifts that it's made in just this last couple of minutes with other bodies. Did your body tend to shut down under certain, or did you even leave your body with certain gestures? Did it feel pleasurable? Or were, for example, it might be quite unusual to be growling and shaking your fist, but were you able to enjoy it a little bit? You know, there's no right or wrong. We're just experimenting today with how you operate.
Can I just share something here, Jim? So in between these exercises, I'm prompted to suggest after we've made the gesture, the face, whatever, to do some stretching out so that we're not, that whatever we just did isn't fixed on us. We can just stretch out and just play with it a little bit and loosen it up.